Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I'm going to do something that I did last month to weird amounts of popularity, and that is to open one of these little guys. This is a Terrible Knife of the Month box. I'm not going to name the company. It's been censored out both for their protection and for my own. But every month you pay a certain amount of money, altogether too much money really, and then you get in exchange a really terrible, terrible knife. Last month, what showed up was this little gem right here, although gem is not being used in the sense of goodness instead of... Yeah, this is a gem like tuberculosis is a gem. But you know what? Actually, let me be real here. This knife isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It had many good features. For instance, it's relatively thin behind the edge, so it can actually cut things. That's pretty good. Guys, I'm running out of good features here. It's got style? Oh, yeah. Absolutely, it's got freaking style. So anyways, this is what showed up last month. And inside this box is this month's affair. Now, I have not actually seen inside this box. I have zero idea what is in here. So I'm just as in the dark as you guys are. It's going to be pretty impressive here. And so, yeah, one other thing I'm going to note is that it is currently thundering and lightning like crazy out there. So if Thor has a problem with me, and I haven't talked to Thor lately, I may end up going not live if power goes out and whatnot. So if that happens, don't worry. It's not that the crapitude of this knife is imploded. You know, these two in close, went critical, super critical or whatever, and, took out 2 city blocks worth of area. Instead, it's just that, well, power. So anyways, without any further ado, 176 people, holy crap, let's go ahead and get to what you all wanted to see. Alright, here we go. Here we go. For the very first time, I'm going to reveal on the channel this little guy. This is a Peter Rassenti Custom Satori pocket knife. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist the bait and switch here. I'll open this guy, but I wanted to show this off. This is... This is on loan from my buddy Nico here, and this is actually a very, very nice knife. It is not at all meriting what's underneath here. I suspect if they've got another Custom Rassenti in here, then I got a great deal. But anyways, this is a very interesting little integral knife. I'm going to do a full-on look at this guy a little bit later on, but I just figured I'd show it off. What, if I'm going to tease the great knives, I might as well tease the terrible ones here too. So, anyways, wow, already got some great trolls in there. Excellent. Alrighty, so here we go. Let's go ahead and pop this guy open. Getting some great comments there. Alright, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Bam. Okay then. Well, just immediately, there is so much to love. Oh man. So by the way, note that there's going to be a lot of sarcasm here. This is some variety of karambit from the looks of it or another. Karambit, I don't know how the heck you pronounce it. So you got the little hook here, which is good for clipping it to your keychain, or whatever the heck else you do with a karambit. And then the blade itself, let's see how the action is, guys. Actually, the action's not there. And then the knife itself is, it's got this typical curved sort of profile there. The whole thing is all black, which is very stealthy. And coupled with these speed holes mean that no terrorists are going to be able to see this guy coming. This is why they make karambits out of stealth material for the Air Force or something like that. Holy crap, guys. So there were a couple of joys that I want to point out here that are not joyous remotely, but I'm noticing immediately. First off, we're looking at, of course, tip-down only carry. I don't know why it is, but for whatever reason, crappy knives have not gotten the memo that tip-down is the terrible choice. And the thing is, though, people give me crap. Like, tip-down is a perfectly legitimate carry choice. Yeah, sure. But the thing is, this knife, it is not, because this is a karambit style knife, and if you put the goddamn thing on there tip down with a flipper, which is assisted, not only is that stupid because it'll press against your pocket and then pop open this big ugly thing, but it's a freaking karambit, which means that you lose the main perk, which is that you can reach and pull it out of your freaking pocket. So this is just Yeah, so that's a problem. Let's just put it this way. Next beautiful, that is not beautiful thing here whatsoever are these pivots. So check this out, guys. They have built up the pivot here. This has got like the pivot is on a little ziggurat or something. If you are making a temple to a Sumerian god, then absolutely this is the way to construct your pivot. But the thing is, why the heck are you doing it here? My suspicion is that maybe the screws that they had are just too long, and so they needed to insert these spaces in order for it to work. But the thing is, this is ugly in every damn sense, although actually it's out of your pocket, so maybe it's for you to grab the knife easily. You know, it's a shame that there's no other feature of this knife that would let you grab it easily. I don't freaking know. So anyways, you've got your ziggurat pivot going on here, and that's just an ugly thing here too. The action is clearly very assisted and pretty strongly so, although it's reasonable. It fires pretty well. I can't argue with it there. Ergonomically, you know, I'll say that the clip actually isn't so bad ergonomically. It's filling in up here. I mean, there's a little bit of a hot spot here, but it's not the end of the world. Particularly, that's good at least. Okay, so the next little bit of not a joy here is the thumb studs. So thumb studs are fine, but the thing is, they don't make any sense here because they're in the cutting path. It's a freaking karambit, and guys, no, just every freaking flavor and no. The thumb stud doesn't belong here because it'll get needle trap on whatever you're cutting, etc. Then you've got this little area here, which is not only a fuller, and fullers are annoying to me personally. There's a gripe coming up on one of these guys here. So, but it's also got the fuller with the little holes drilled in it, and that's, well, even worse because now you've got crap collecting in your fuller and then crap collecting in the holes inside. And so I deeply dislike that. They've done the double harpoon sort of thing, which is just a beautiful thing. I absolutely love that. Because they've got a harpoon on this side, but they've got a harpoon on this side too, and that's not something that you see it on a regular basis. So this is very innovative in the knife-making world to have the double harpoon, almost a little bit of a batarang thing. Gibraltar is saying, obviously a Todd Begg. I really, really hope not, although who knows, maybe Todd Begg's got a side gig with Tac Force, for all I know. So yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Now let's figure out what the steel is on this guy. This is a TF534. It's handmade in China by very, very small hands, no doubt. USA design. Yep, again, I maintain on my last Tac Force that USA must be a guy in China. And it's just stainless. They're not telling us which flavor is stainless this time. I think on our last one they actually told us the steel. No, it was just stainless. Okay, so we just have to assume that this is whatever was left at the bottom of the pot when the factory closed. So, yeah, I have zero idea whatsoever. And that was a child labor joke, by the way. That was not racism. That said, I don't actually think that's any better. So really, I'm just a terrible person either way. Sorry about that, guys. But anyways, wow, this is spectacular. You do have some, I don't know if I want to call it redeeming, but ergonomically, like I said, it's okay. The jimping is done reasonably well. The flipper tab is pretty low profile on this little guy, which is good because it's tip up. So it's gonna freaking, if the flipper tab is prominent, it'll pop open in your freaking pocket. They do have a sharpening choil, although they've completely kind of missed the plunge grind, but that's okay. What is the sharpness like on this guy? Is there sharpness on this guy? That's an excellent question here. Do I actually have a piece of paper around? What's this with? Maybe. Yeah, sure, what the heck. Piece of paper. Okay, it is actually sharp-ish. Until you get up there by the tip, at which point it's no longer sharpish. Can you actually see the edge? I mean, the grind is asymmetrical, but so's my Benchmade Anthem. Can't really argue with that. Yeah. So, again. Oh, safety testing. Of course, safety testing. Here, I'll use this. Nope. Didn't fail. Hey, that's nice. Lockup comes in at around 60%, so I can't argue with it there. Yeah, looks okay. I think it's going to be okay safety-wise. It's absolutely not going to drop shut in any sense because of that damned assist, but whatever. Oh, guys. But like I said, I think this is like the maximum acceptable level of suck. Not that I'm saying that this is acceptable necessarily. In fact, you should not buy this knife. If you're watching this because you are this is your first time on the channel and you're thinking, oh wow, this looks like a really cool knife, this is not a really cool knife. And in fact, let me explain briefly, aside from the things I brought up, why this is not a really cool knife. I mean, functionality-wise, I've already hit on the fact that this is freaking ridiculous. A karambit-style knife where the ring is inside the pocket is dumb as hell. So that's to start with there. The steel on this guy is not good. If you see just stainless on a knife, that generally means, well, it's a freaking problem. It's going to be the steel equivalent of the horse in the stable who's kind of leaning to one side and shaking pretty good. Yeah, it might get a couple of steps, but it's going to fall down when you need it to. So that's important. And the other thing is, for the amount of money I freaking paid for this, which... what was it, like $17.95 a month, which is really, I'm getting my freaking face ripped off here, 100%. You can do a lot better than that. For $8 you can get your Open L, for instance, which is a very, very nice little knife, although given it's a little bit more tactical than this guy. If you watch my high-speed, low-drag tactical review of the Open L, you'll understand why I say that. But still, you can do a lot better than this knife, and you should do a lot better than this knife in the grand scheme of things. Because, oh my god. Oh, somebody just mentioned the weight. Of course, I need to figure out what this is. Let's see here. The weight of this knife is 4.29 ounces. You know, that's actually not as terrible as you'd think it would be. I'm pretty sure that this... I don't know. I'm trying to decide whether this outer material is a metal or a plastic of some variety. The answer is almost certainly yes, and the line between metal and plastic here, if it is metal, is pretty small. But, that's not a terrible weight, although, again, stupid in every other damn way, stupid. Only try it in the pocket. Let's see if this clip actually works. Yeah, but the joy of this guy in the pocket that I just realized is that look at the height of the clip here, and then look at the thumb stud, and look at how high this thumb stud is sticking up off the knife. So every time you pocket this guy, the thumb stud snags on your pocket as well, which is actually even better because let's say you come in at an angle and you're trying to pocket this guy, you come in at an angle, and guess what? Your knife just opened in your freaking pocket. So again, this thumb stud is just a spectacularly bad idea. In every freaking sense of the word, so I'm not super impressed with this knife. Let's put it that way. There are many, many, many things. And of course, Spyderco Delica size comparison. And actually, at the same time that I do that, I can show off something else that's beautiful. Would be, well, yeah. So recently, everybody here knows that I am a big fan of the Spyderco Delica. This is one of the very best pocket knives in the world, really. And I love it, and I've had this guy for years and years and years. Thing is, a new version of the Delica was recently released. It was a Knife Center exclusive, I believe. And, well, I just got mine today. Check this out. This is the Spyderco Delica in, oh, what the heck is it? It's diamond wood. I think they call it hacker wood or something like that. Like Hakka rather than hacker, like some guy who just broke into the election system or something like that. Oh, sorry, that was topical for those of you in the States. My bad. And the steel on this guy, in addition to having these very pretty handles, the steel on this guy is HAP 40 with a jacket of SUS 410 steel. And so you can see here, this little line here is absolutely... the division there. And if we look at the back of the blade, we should be able to see it. Maybe? Yeah, there you go. You can kind of see a difference in luster between the two steels. So this is sandwiched right in the middle there. Guys, I have an incredible number of trolls in the channel right now. This is pretty impressive. Hold on, I gotta ban some people. Let's see here. There we go. Much better. So, anyways... This is the brand new Delica, and in a lot of ways I kind of like it. There are a lot of improvements here on the Delica. The biggest of them is the fact that it's going to be disassemblable. The original Delica can be taken apart, but it's a royal pain in the neck because you're trying to put plastic pins into things, and whereas this guy, you can see, is entirely metal in the middle there. There's a metal line is sandwiched between metal, and that's nice. And the inside of this knife then is all metal as well. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Wow, guys. A lot of people with not a whole lot going on this evening. Hope that you can find something beautiful else to do with your life. I've sharpened the recurve into my original Delica. If it is, it's a very, very subtle one. And I don't believe that's true. You can always see, I mean, this is always the disadvantage. Somebody just said that there. So you can always see that with a Spyderco that doesn't have the sharpening choil, and very few of them do, there's the little bit of, there's a cutout right here, and that usually over time will lead to the formation of some slight bit of recurving and whatnot. A little bit ugly. But anyways, that's something you just got to keep in mind as you're doing your sharpening, and that is the reason that I tend to recommend that people put a sharpening choil on knives. What else do I have to show off here at the moment? Because, you know, this guy we've already determined is pretty freaking awful. So, yeah, that's ceramic bearings. No, this guy is just on washers. Let's see if we can take this little guy apart here. I don't think we're going to be able to. Usually these guys have been locked down pretty well by the folks putting them together. Folks not implying anything about age. Okay. Is that screw already stripped? Is that like a pre-stripped screw? Because that'd be pretty excellent. Let's try a T7. No. Is this a hex bit? Maybe. Okay, look at this, guys. Check this out. I'm going to see if I can show. This is a whole different level of suck here. Try and figure out what this is here. This looks to be a hex bit, right? Let's look at the other side here. This appears to have some Torx action going on. So this is sort of a little bit of a pastiche. Came back to that there. The suck just pulled me right back in here. Let's try a hex bit here. Okay. Yeah, hex is gripping a little bit better. But note, by the way, that every other screw on this knife is Torx. So that's pretty excellent right there. It's a Horx bit, says Nathan Schmokel. Yes, indeed. That is exactly what this is. Yeah, this is just a free spinning pivot here, and it appears to be Loctited or something. Such that that's not freaking coming loose without a second set of hex bits. And I don't happen to have a second set of hex bits handy, which is sort of disappointing there. Wow. Lots of really annoying folks out there. Loctite equals child workers. Oy. Yeah, I shouldn't make fun of child labor. It's a real problem. I have no, by the way, official knowledge that TAC Force is using that. But, yeah. A lot of people are talking about the cricket fossil, CRKT, for those of you who aren't familiar with my pronunciation of their name. I'll stop cutting corners on their name when they stop cutting corners on their knives. But anyways, the cricket fossil's a very interesting little knife in a lot of ways. Frankie and the Bird have them. It seems like a very nice little piece. And, you know, I mean that in a legitimate way. It's not something I've had a chance to check out yet, but one of these days I am absolutely going to do that. So, yeah, there you go. See how KT cooked. If they were going to check into the burn ward on my account, they would have done it a long time ago. I get the feeling that they just don't have any shame about that. That's just the way that they're trying to do here. Let's see here. Happy Fisto asks, honestly, could you see this as a functional defense piece? I've done this rant on a number of occasions, and so I'll give you an abridged version of it. First off, karambits are well-known knives for self-defense. There are martial arts that teach them about them. I don't know those martial arts, and you don't either if you're asking that question. So the answer is no. You should do something else for self-defense, namely de-escalation and running the hell away. This knife particularly, though, is particularly bad for self-defense because, well, like I said, it's stupid in a variety of ways. It's stupid in that it's tipped down with the ring in there. I mean, the advantage of karambits is that you pull it out like this, you have it in your hand, pop it open, and you're slashing carpet or whatever the hell you do with a carumbit blade. And so if you're attacked by a rogue roll of carpet, this is absolutely a good approach. But again, this whole tip down thing kind of screws that over there. There is also no Emerson Wave on this guy. The Emerson Wave, I don't have any knives with the Emerson Wave. The Emerson Wave is a little tab on the top of the knife that kind of sticks out so that it can catch your pocket as you're pulling it out of your pants here. And so that's a very effective way to deploy a carumbit. This has no such thing. Although I suppose technically as you're pulling it out of there, you could theoretically catch your pocket on the thumb stud, at which point this blade would pop open and then dig into your femoral artery. At that point, you would exsanguinate right there on the street in front of whoever's trying to attack you. And I think at that point, they would probably figure, okay, never mind, the wallet's going to be all bloody and the phone is going to be soaked in entrails and whatnot. And so they'd probably stop robbing you. So in that sense, this might actually be a very effective self-defense tool. But unfortunately, you're probably going to die. Well, frankly, either way, if you put this self-offense. Nice, I love it. So yeah, that's a beautiful. No, there is no thing about beautiful thing here. Yeah, reverse ninja grip, do it. So okay, I don't even know. Is it like this that you're holding this? Like this? I mean, yeah, I can see that being. I wouldn't want to be slashed with this. Although luckily the tip is pretty dull, so it's kind of like a trainer that's only a trainer if you hit this first part up here. So don't use this as a trainer, by the way. A trainer, of course, is a dulled version of a knife intended for self-defense. So yeah, I'm sure some carumbit fighter would be able to do a better job of this. You know, the freaking, what's his name? Oh, come on, Doug Makida, who, get on the camera and do one of those things that he always does with the knife before he slashes open a pig carcass on Forged in Fire. So he'd, have this fancy thing that would make it look really cool, and at that point he'd be able to say, oh, well, the balance is pretty good here, although it was pulling to the side. But, unfortunately, I don't know a damn thing about it. And this will, in fact, not cut. And although it would probably kill if you, hit somebody in the head with it repeatedly. But so would anything. I mean, it will kill. But what the hell do I know about killing? I'm just a peaceful little guy. So anyways, this knife will probably not cut. Sorry, I'm reading these comments here, and it's pretty spectacular. Daniel J. DeSanto is asking me, Nick, is the HAP 40 Delica, this little guy, worth the price increase over the original? That's a really great question. That's really only a question you can answer. The price of these two knives, this is roughly double the price to go up to the wood handle. If you love the wood handle, that's great. And one thing to highlight is that this is not technically a wood. This is a resin with the plies of wood overlay within it, so it's more durable, more stable than wood in a lot of ways. I like diamond wood very much, this material. But anyways, when you move up to here, you get a little bit, you get an upgraded steel. Although Cedric A to Gear Outdoors, follow his channel if you don't. His steel test didn't really, show incredible things for HAP 40. But, the part of the joy of the Delica is that it's inexpensive. For me, I bought this because I love the Delica and because I find it attractive. But for you, it might not be the case. So, there you go. Sorry, there are no shortage of wood jokes going on in the chat here. And, well, yeah, I probably gave some bad phrasing in there someplace. Oh, somebody just asked for the Z-Hunter comparison. And, of course, that's an important thing here. How could I do this comparison without this comparison? You can see here that this is stealthier, that the zombies will not see you coming with the attack force here relative to the Z-Hunter, although they will see you coming because you'll be trailing blood because this popped open in your pocket and hit your femoral. So yeah, they'll see you. Do they smell blood, or is that vampires? Do vampires do that? I don't even freaking know. Sorry, guys, I'm not really an expert on these things. I'm sure some Walking Dead fans can chime in here. But anyways, so, yeah, cutting edge comparison. I'm kind of surprised this isn't serrated. Attack force usually, well, this guy wasn't either, I guess. So, yeah, sharks smell blood, not vampires. So, okay, yeah, this will attract sharks. I can guarantee you that one. Unfortunately, I do not have the Master Knife here for comparison, although, oh boy, was that a terrible knife. And in many ways, the Master Knife was way more terrible than this guy. Frankly, the Z-Hunter is more terrible than this knife, because the Z-Hunter is unsafe at any speed, basically. You can see it's got some blade play issues. I mean, it's a special place in my heart, for sure, but, you know, this knife has no side-to-side or front-to-back blade play. I mean, it's durable-ish, but no, don't buy this freaking knife. If anybody here is at all concerned, do not buy this freaking knife. And in fact, if somebody ever comes up to you and says, hey, I bought this knife because of Nick Shabazz, you are welcome to tell them that, no, they missed the point there. Yeah, Ralph Nader jokes. I know, I always go for that obscure reference there very much. And of course, the most relevant comparison here is with the Peter Rassenti Custom Satori knife here. So there were a couple of differences between these two pieces here when you think about it. Both of them have a plastic surround on the pivot, except in this case, this is a G10 sort of thing, and so that's an obvious point of comparison. Both of them have a thumb stud that is not at first blush useful, although in this case, it's not actually a thumb stud, it is the stop pin. This is how Rassenti has gotten around the issue of how to put a stop pin in an integral knife. Action-wise, the Rassenti is way better, as it damn well better be, considering it is, let's see, I paid $17 for that. I think my buddy's like $1,400 deep in this guy, so I would very much hope that the Rassenti is a little bit better. They've both got speed grooving. It's not speed holes, but speed grooving. One would assume that this is to, you know, like on a golf ball, the dimples make it much faster. One can assume that's the same thing they got going on here. This guy has got the little fuller. They've both got a little fuller. Although this guy, I very much appreciate two things about it. It is a rounded bottom in the fuller, which means it's much easier to wipe out than this piece of crap over here. And I like the fact that it goes all the way to the edge there, again, making it easier to deal with. So that's a nice thing. Thinness behind the edge-wise, the Rassenti is absolutely a better slicer than this. Here, I'll pull this off. I don't know how much this has been used. Not much at all, apparently. But this is a much, much better cutting tool than the other guy. So that's an important distinction. Clip-wise, this actually makes sense. That's important. You know, overall, I think the Peter Rassenti Custom Satori is a much, much better knife. But again, well, freaking better be. Yeah. The click on this guy, yeah, somebody just said in the comments, so much click. Indeed. The Peter Rassenti, God damn, does Peter Rassenti do a good job with his knives, acoustically speaking. So yeah, that's... Oh, that sound. Sorry, I've just got this. I picked this guy up at the post office this morning, and holy crap, is it nice. Picked some other things up at the post office that are pretty interesting as well, that I want to show off to you if I can freaking find them. Where are they? Here we go. Okay, this guy is by Bester Knives. B-E-S-T-E-R. I know the E-R thing is a little hard to hear from me, but it's E-R is in the show from the 90s that most of you guys weren't alive for. But anyways, this is an interesting little front flipper knife. It is all titanium construction. It is a custom knife. This was on loan from my buddy Mike. This from my buddy Nico here. But a very interesting little knife in a lot of ways. Let's see here. It's just, there's a lot of good here. It's thin behind the edge. I'm kind of a fan there. So I'll be taking a closer look at this guy, doing a full review of it. And not very expensive is the other important thing here. We're looking at like $300 or $400, which for a custom front flipper ain't bad. Right here we've got a, if we consider this to be the Darth Vader of knives, which actually is giving it way more credit in terms of badassery, this would be the Stormtrooper of knives. This is a Millet Max Evolution with Jerry Moen, who's got a great freaking maker's mark. And very interesting little knife, although the pocket clip is missing at the moment. They're sending a new one. But anyways, very interesting little knife. Me and my buddy Mike. And yeah, haven't had a real chance to handle this one either. But there's a lot of good here. Ergonomically speaking, it works nicely. Huge. Absolutely freaking huge. But huge. More like Kylo Ren, edgy, nice. And then this guy is a very lesser-known maker, but actually he's kind of impressing me. This is a North Arms Knives Skaha, S-K-A-H-A. I have no idea what the name means. I assume it's something like, they were trying to figure out what to name the knife, and somebody said, Skaha, I got it. Okay, that was terrible. But anyways, this is a knife that has got some nicely contoured G10 handles. And then on the inside here, they've got a lock bar mounted, which actually is connected to the clip, which is an interesting arrangement. The lock bar and clip connect together. So that's pretty nice. And then the action on it is really good. It pops out very, very nicely. You can see immediately that they're using a flattened off detent ball, which is a great trick. And they're using the same sort of CNC milling pattern that the Grimsmos do on the Grimsmo Norseman that isn't on my table at the moment. But and these are also Canadian folks. They're made in British Columbia here, BC. That's not like BC as opposed to CE. Because this would be a very old knife, and I don't think G10's been around that long. And the steel is S35V, and I don't actually know the price yet, so, yeah, I'm sure it'll come up there one of these days. British Columbia, by the way, is BC. But, yeah, anyways, interesting little knife, and the action on it is really sublime. Big fan of that, and very freaking lightweight. Wow, a lot of hate for Canada. Guys, what the heck does Canada do to you? I mean, seriously. Like, given my experiences with Canada are fairly limited. Apparently, they've got bad taxes on cheese. I once met a cheese smuggler. Here, story time. So I'm in Costco, and I'm in Kalispell, freaking Montana, which is right up by the border with Canada. And there's a guy sitting in front of the line in the Costco in front of me, and in his shopping cart, he has probably 20 bricks, and I mean bricks, of Tillamook cheddar. And I'm not talking like little tiny... I'm talking like big-ass freaking like 4x4x8 sorts of bricks of Tillamook freaking cheddar. And that's the entirety of his cart. It's just cheddar. It's like you see a bad movie about the drug industry and they got like the bricks of cocaine or heroin or whatever. It's just cheddar. And so I being a jackass, I have to ask. I say, excuse me, sir, do you have a cheese party planned? There's something along... I'm sure it was something cheesy. Oh, God, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even intend for that pun to happen. But anyways... cheesy. Just turn it off, guys. It's all downhill from here. But anyways, what the hell do you... And he said, no, I'm taking it back across the border. And this does not actually answer my questions. This is... And so I say, okay, that's very interesting. Why are you taking 20 bricks of Tillamook cheddar across the border? He says, well, up north there's a cheese tax, and a lot of people don't, so I'll come down here and then sell it back to friends and family. And I said, so you're smuggling cheese? And he started laughing kind of awkwardly because I think I'd hit the nail on the head. Well, no, I mean, you're allowed to take a certain amount back either way. So I have met a Canadian cheese smuggler. Very out in the open about it, I gotta say. So I hope Border Patrol... I'm picturing him passing a brick of cheddar off to the Border Control agent trying to get past. Anyways, wow. I don't know why I told that story there, but... Anyways, so if you want to buy one of these, I'm sure you'll be able to find their website, and they'll probably take Visa, MasterCard, or freaking cheese. So let me know. I should talk to the Grimsmos and see if I can pay them in cheese. Smuggling syrup, yeah, indeed. Oh, God. Happy Fisto says he gets caught at customs and jumps in the back trying to eat it as quickly as he can. Oh, God. That would be... Oh, man. Anyways, is it good enough for you to look the other way? Ouch. I am just loving the cheese-related puns in here. I picked the wrong crowd of people to live for, but that's okay. So anyways, this is a very interesting knife. May or may not be payable in cheese, but whatever it is, I love the freaking action on it, and I'm looking forward to spending some more time with this little guy. Very, very, very nice. Review extra sharp cheddar. Actually, I've considered doing that. I think that would be an interesting review. I could do a sharpness test on it. Actually, that's what I'll do. I'll send another Cedric Ada, see if he can do some sharpness testing on there. That make pizza delivery smuggling only if you cross the border. Although cross-border pizza delivery sounds like it'd be a pain in the neck. Like a passport to... Yeah, no. I hope not. Oh, the cheese buns are terrible. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should show off while I'm here. Lion Steel SR11. Oh, I already put that. I did a live unboxing of this little guy. No, for the most part, right now at the moment, actually, I'm really, although I just got these loaners in here, they were kind of offers I couldn't refuse. Like, I want to see that, and that, and you're willing to send it right now. Okay. But I'm really kind of cutting back on loaners right now just because I got so damn much I need to do over here. So, there you go. Awkwardly Social just asked about the I Am Nick Shabazz contest. So the I Am Nick Shabazz contest has ended right now, and what I'm planning to do, actually it may even happen tomorrow, is I'll put up a Google form with with results, basically. I'm sorry, not results, but wherever there's a survey where you can say, of these, pick your top 3 of each of these, or of all the ones in there. And I'll tabulate the viewer results there, and then the reason I've been a little bit slow on it is that the judging committee for the grand prize is myself, the fiancé, and my dear mother. And my dear mother is currently on the road, so, she hadn't been able to check them out yet. But I will be getting the results to you guys as soon as I possibly can. What I will say is that the playlist is already up, and there are gems in there. There are people who picked up on spectacular things and had me just uproariously laughing. So you should definitely check that out. Hey, there's Treddy. He's another knife reviewer. Check him out. 7 Ready. R-E-D-I. So, yeah, great questions there. Mama Shabazz, indeed. So, yeah, any new watch reviews, says Tyler Durden? Yes, indeed. I am working on getting a couple of watches in for review here coming up. I have this little guy, the Citizen Corso, that I'm going to be reviewing before too long here. Very nice little watch. Of course, I'm still waiting to film my review of the Omega Planet Ocean here, which has been on my wrist most of the damn time. The reason I'm waiting so long is that I do want to make sure I'm off the honeymoon, and this could have a very long honeymoon. I want to make sure the accuracy settles where it's going to, which, by the way, is freaking astounding still. But so far, I've done my quick first impressions video, and that's going to say a lot of what I'm going to say in the final review. But it's going to be a long final review. I may even break it into the good, the great, the bad, and the ugly conclusion or something like that. So yeah, I've been looking at that guy. Peter Pavlovic says Breitling's the way to go. Breitling's a great brand. They've got a lot of good stuff. Style-wise, they don't always do it for me, but Breitling Aerospace, love to check out one of these days. So yeah, and then, I got all kinds of other reviews, and I got philosophical videos coming up. I've actually been enjoying doing those. I posted one on Sunday, and I think on last Sunday as well, and they bring me joy because it's a little bit of a break. If I just do review after review after review, it's easy to get into a rut. But the philosophical question videos are a little bit more interesting, at least for me, and really help me to mix it up a little bit. So I'm really planning to do more of that. Of course, they take time to film because I have to write my, come up with things. But yeah. Jacob Dowse asks, do you ever get burned out on knives? Yeah, I do, Jacob. That's a great question, actually, and it's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. It is absolutely the case that there are times where I just feel really burned out. And it's usually kind of apparent in my reviewing, I think. And very often it's because I'm seeing the same problems over and over again. I need something that's either really, really bad to break me free of my torpor, or something that's really, really good to break me free of my torpor. I mean, there are lots of really great knives out in the world, and so there have been knives that have just kind of restored my faith in humanity, where I just see, it's not the bad reviews that are tough, although those are really hard for me to write. I hate, crapping on people. And it's not the good reviews that are tough, it's the ones in the middle, where it's just a bunch of freaking 40-degree days. Those don't bring me joy. But anyways, so I do get burned out on occasion, but luckily, often it's the case that something wonderful can come across my table and make it all feel okay again. So, yeah, that's a great question, though. I'm trying really hard. Gibraltar says, if you ever feel too burned out, feel free to send some of them my way. I actually have been selling a fair number of knives lately, trying to thin down my collection. I got some great incoming stuff as well, just to get ready for that. But, unfortunately, I'm not doing very good at selling more knives than I'm buying. So I really need to be calming it down here, guys. So, yeah. And Osmosis 101 says, yeah, or 01 says, yeah, nowadays, unlike 10, 15 years ago, there are new things coming out every damn day. And at some level, that's a great thing. There's always some good new stuff. There's always some bad new stuff. There's usually some ugly new stuff. Just saying. And, yeah. But anyways, there we go. People are already calling dibs on knives in my collection. Well, guys, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, maybe you can figure something out with the fiancé, but nah, probably not. Anyways, I hope this has been interesting to you. Do not buy this knife. Do not buy this knife. This knife, you should not buy it. I don't care if you're rolling in dough from your Canadian cheese smuggling business. I don't care if you do not freaking buy this knife. This is a bad knife, and you should not buy it. And in fact, don't pay $17.95 for this knife. If you're thinking about doing one of those box things, just save the money and buy something better. Seriously, do not buy this knife. Anyways, I hope I've made my views clear. Do not buy this knife. And that you have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day in which you do not buy this knife. But anyways, have a good one, guys. Thanks for coming in to see the live chat. Bye now.